Welcome back to episode 3 of Highs and Healing, nurse-to-nurse conversations on cannabis and psychedelics. We are so excited to be back today talking about how to get started on your microdosing journey with us. And what's unique about us is that we are medical professionals. Ariane is specially trained in psychedelic integration. So Ariane, somebody has done a little bit of research, they're curious, they're excited, they are ready to get started on their journey with us. What happens when they come to us?
Yeah, so it's really exciting. This is an exciting time, going through this renaissance or resurgence of psychedelics and the healing and transformation that people can have. So if people are coming to us, they'll see that we've rolled out 3 different programs that we're offering. One is a one-on-one support for microdosing education and kind of figuring out how you can work with that in your life. Another option is for a group container, which is a 12-week program where you would be with other people, getting educated on microdosing and what that looks like and exploring psychedelics. And then we also have a one-on-one program that would be available to help people who are looking at changing some of their medicines up, maybe coming down off some of them. And we have different programs that can support with that. So that's first is like checking out what we have going on, right? And then to schedule a consultation so that we can see what really is a good fit, which option would be good for you. We can go a little bit deeper about the science of psychedelics and what's being said. Is it true? Is it not true? There's just so many things and I can appreciate it. You're like, is this real? Is it not? Is it safe? Getting to answer some of those questions. Also checking for medications, seeing if there's any medications that may be contraindicated for exploring psychedelics, checking into any mental health history that may need a little additional support or, guidance around it. And yeah, just going from there. We will talk about, on the consultation, some other things that can also be supportive along with utilizing psychedelics and microdosing, because again, kind of like we had said in a previous video, microdosing is just one tool. And these programs are set out in a way to be guided, to really support people so that they get optimal results, something that's a little bit more sustainable, and based on what's being shown in the research, right? Because microdosing is being researched. And there's a lot of anecdotal evidence and surveys that have been done. There's some in the UK. I think there's some in Canada that have been done as well on, how people are affected with microdosing. None of this is really controlled or has placebos. Anecdotal research is what drives clinical trials. So it's just as valid. It's things that we can talk about and take into consideration.
Awesome. Okay, so that's all things that happen in an initial consultation, and then you'll kind of walk them through the different programs and help them decide which one is going to be appropriate for them. Okay, so for somebody who is appropriate for a group program, what does that look like?
Yeah, so group is really valuable for a lot of people. The group container is a private community. It's secure. For multiple reasons, because a lot of people don't feel supported whenever they have decided to get curious about psychedelics and they're wanting to learn more. A lot of people think that it's something completely different, that you're going to be just tripping all day or, hallucinating, and that could not be farther from the case. But also a lot of people, not only do they feel awkward talking to friends and family, like, hey, I'm going to be taking mushrooms or whatever to help me with my creativity, to help with my inflammation, to help with my depression or whatever. They just don't really feel supported. So you get that in the community. You can talk to other people who are navigating this along with you. The support is just really awesome. Within the community, there's also some education and some additional resources for just having some extra support. Really, the group is for anybody who needs community, right? And just needs that additional support. It's not a replace for therapy. This is not group therapy. This is community, right? This is getting
Right.
together and talking with each other, sharing stories, and being witness to each other's journey. So it's really a neat thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that I tell people all the time, it's not therapy, but it is therapeutic. And as
Hmm.
somebody who's gone through this group container, like I can't recommend it enough. The support of everybody there, the knowledge and expertise of the people who are leading the group is just unmatched. So that's, yeah, yeah, that's a group program. Okay, if group is not right for somebody, or that that's not something they're vibing with, tell me about our two one-on-one programs that we offer.
Yeah, so I can appreciate that group really isn't for everybody, and some whatever, neither here nor there. But for a one-on-one, what that looks like is um having a guided protocol, right? Kind of figuring out like what your intentions are, what are you wanting to create? And then you have, a guided protocol that goes along with that. Knowing that we don't supply substances. I mean, that's the supplements are something for other people to sort on their own. And most people already have that sorted out when they come to us. They're just looking for extra guidance along the way. But we talk about protocols, we talk about additional supplements that it can actually increase neuroplasticity, that can be really supportive while you're microdosing and you're on your journey. We also will talk about different, or meet up and do different life coaching sessions if that's necessary. Um, Journaling prompts. The invitation whenever you're microdosing, whether you're in a group or you're doing one-on-one, is to do things that one are going to make you happy, right? If you
Mhm.
can, but be more intentional with the way that you're doing things, and having an accountability can be really helpful. If you're like, okay, well, I'm going to microdose in this week, like I'm going to do this thing different at work. Like I'm going to try to not flip my boss off every time he walks away, right? And if you need someone to be like, hey, I'm over here on the other side, like that's kind of what it is. Like I'm here to help you along the way and to guide. Sometimes questions can come up like um with dosing, or sometimes things can come up when people are microdosing that, not that's challenging, just the additional awareness around things can kind of disrupt someone's life a little bit, and they're like, oh my god, like all these things are happening. And it can be really helpful to have a guide to help ground you, help remind you of what your intention was, and be there along the way. um and that would just one-on-one, right? And that's just a blanket, but that would also apply to the one-on-one when we're talking about someone who's wanting to decrease their medications or something like that. I will say and note on this that no matter who comes and decides to do this consultation, whether, if you're appropriate or it feels like it's a good fit moving forward, making sure that your primary care provider knows what you're doing is really important, especially if you're taking medicines. There are some medicines that are safe with psilocybin, and also it's important for your provider to know if you're going to be doing these things. I can understand that it's challenging, but the sooner we can start having these conversations and getting rid of the stigma, I feel like it's a big part of it. But with that being said, with someone who is interested in support with weaning down off of medications, and they're interested in microdosing along with that, like it's important for your providers to know if you're going to be coming off of your meds. I'm not going to contact anybody's doctor, but weaning takes time. Weaning is not something that is going to happen very quickly or overnight. Weaning can be anywhere from a 6 month, I mean, a 6 week to, a 90-day time period. It is low, it is slow, but there are different ways that we can go about it to make it supportive so that people don't go through withdrawal symptoms, and just make it a lot more easeful. And that's one of the things that we offer. Again, I mean, if you're ready to come off your meds, if that's I was personally on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications for 15, 16 years collectively. And so I've come off of them myself. Like I get it, I understand. They're a incredibly wonderful tool whenever they are that tool, and then when they're not, and technically I would be considered treatment-resistant depression. And I had failed multiple attempts of having, resolution with antidepressants, but that's not me anymore. So
Right,
it's a
right.
possibility.
Okay. All right. Thank you for explaining that. So we have 3 different programs that include a group container, one-on-one support, and then a medication reduction program. And they all start with a consultation with Ariane to figure out which is appropriate, if at all appropriate. And if you're coming to us and you're just wanting the supplements themselves, then we are not the right people for you. We offer programs and support and guidance. So, yeah. I'm so excited for this. Thank you, Ariane. And we will see you next time, and we'll talk more things, psychedelics, and maybe we'll get into some cannabis on the next episode of Highs and Healing, nurse to nurse conversations on cannabis and psychedelics.